I'm gonna exist on camera and do poses and shit. Because I think I look good. Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna just exist on camera, as I did a while ago. Yeah, when I was listening to preparation. I don't remember what preparation video or recording it was. I think the one where I did the recap of the fucking GT recording. Oh, maybe I'll do another recording on those notes because they were so fucking douchey and it's stupid. Oh my god. Maybe I'll do it tonight. Yeah, I'm sure there's more shit I can say about it. Yeah, oh my god. Whoa. Just knowing she listened to it, but not the point. Oh my god. Whoa. Yeah, I want to listen to the recording. Yeah, that I did before the video I just did, and I think it went really, really well. Yeah, I think it went well. Yeah, it's allowing me to gain confidence, me doing these preparation recordings and videos. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna listen to the recording I did, before that on general topics. Yeah, so, I'll just start doing poses and shit. The conversation we had about my 57 essay, but not the point. Oh, I'm sure, like, me talking about this shit, again, would imply that to her, but not the point. Not the point, God. Yeah. Hold on, post-nasal, God. Ugh, God, ew. Christ almighty. Yeah. Yeah, but basically, like, how I, like, explained everything else. Like, God, I didn't do it justice. Ugh, I didn't do it justice. Oh, yeah, the oxytocin hit, like, I fucking, like, botched that description, like, definitely. Yeah, like, talking about, like, child bride, keep your gun. Like, me bringing up keep your gun, like, especially. Like, I'm trying to remember, like, how I, like, phrased it. Like, yeah, talking about how, like, yeah, fake choice, fake agency, like, any kind of keep your gun thing you do, like, if you're two in GT, is basically fake. And then I was like, well, like, oh, maybe if you gave them a real gun, but, like, if it was GT, if it's GT, I don't think it would really matter. It would be like Cole or Gulliver. Yeah, I barely felt it. Oh, I mean, it's kind of ironic in terms of Gulliver's Travels, because, again, like I said before, oh, we watched that movie on Thanksgiving, all the way through for, I think, the first time ever. And actually, there's a point where, like, the Lilliputians, almost shoot Gulliver with his own gun. So that's kind of funny. Yeah. Yeah, that is funny. To be fair. But whatever. Not the point. Yeah, but my point of bringing up keep your gun is that, like, again, yeah, like, oh, if it was a real gun, like, in GT, I don't think it would matter, because the gun would be really small. And I did say that in the oxytocin, recording, talking about fake choice and fake agency for the first time. But then I was like, I mean, it would be okay, like, it would make sense if it was, like, a gun that was, like, the same size as them or whatever, like, to their scale, which is what happened in the road with, like, the boy and, like, the other man on the beach. Again, like, it was like, she probably got a sense of, yeah, there's no point in explaining all of this. It's like, dude, like, for her to understand what keep your gun is, like, you have to explain it. Like, you can't just assume that she knows. I did talk to her, afterwards about how do you prove to your child bride. Oh, talking about how, yeah, if you're a guardian and you get a child bride at the Prevaganza, like, yeah, like, how do you prove you're not grooming them? How you act around them, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, it's an interesting idea. I can draw parallels, like, between GT, and, like, base iniquities, whatever, in the real world in terms of, like, specific examples like that. Oh, but I didn't really go into a lot of detail. Oh, I mean, yeah, not even really when we were talking about it after. Yeah. Hold on. I mean, me saying, hold on. Ugh. Me saying while I was, like, bringing up the idea of GT being purgatory. Like, I went back and read those notes again. Maybe I'll pull them up in this, meh. I mean, yeah, it's in my downloads still, but not the point. Yeah, no, I mean, I was just like, I mean, yeah, to be fair, I did say, like, oh, I know how badly the power dynamic is abused in the sadistic macro smut. The fact that I brought up, like, sadistic macro smut multiple times, like, at least say macro, just say macro, ugh. Yeah, I feel like even that was oversharing, but not the point. Yeah, even bringing it up once, whatever, phrasing it like that. Yeah, but anyway, keep getting off track slightly. No, like, yeah, me saying, like, oh, I know how badly the power dynamic is abused. Like, I didn't even say it. Like, in terms of, like, the fantasy in my head where I'm controlling the three, I didn't bring up the fact that, like, I was the one who was, like, abusing the perverse power. Like, three was victimizing one, like, on my behalf, essentially. Like, even if, like, they were doing it, yeah, like, even if they were doing it on purpose, like, in the context of direct victimization still. I could have phrased that better. Oh, yeah, like me, I said, oh, I like to see how, like, 2 has to fight to not abuse their perverse power in GT. Like, yeah, and then I said, I put my emotions on 2 in GT, because it's way more interesting to put your emotions onto 2, which is true. And, like, I don't think that there was anything wrong with me bringing that up. Whoa! Ah! Drop my cigarette. Not boiling stream of blood, Augustus Gloop penance, because I didn't drop it on myself, but whatever. I actually dropped it in the ashtray. Oh. Pretty fortunate, not the point. God. I'm thinking. Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, to bring up that, like, two's emotions and interest, two's emotions and choices, like, in GT are more interesting, like, that's true. But also, like, the fact that, like, I didn't bring up the fact that, I put my emotions on 2 in GT because it's purgatory for me specifically. Because I'm atoning for my sexuality metaphorically. Like, yeah, I was basically saying, like, oh, like, I don't know, like, me, like, suggesting to whoever listened to that recording, basically my mom knows shit. Oh, yeah, and everyone else that I planned on coming out to again, I planned on coming out to the world. Yeah, like, oh, if I, like, tell people, like, what I was talking about in these recordings, like, yeah. It's funny that that's why I started doing recaps in the first place. Oh, I mean, I still think that, like, it's useful to do recaps. Going over all this information in my head, I mean, yeah. Maybe if I didn't do recaps this whole time, my ideas wouldn't have gotten less stupid. But anyway. Yeah, no, like, basically, like, the sense that my mom probably got from, like, me talking about GT as purgatory was, like, oh, like, me suggesting that, like, people read it, like, people read GT, like, yeah, oh, you should do what I do, like, try it, yeah, oh, like, put your emotions onto 2, like, that's what I do, like, yeah. I didn't, like, phrase it, in such a way that I was suggesting that, like, I personally put my emotions onto, yeah, like, because I'm 2 is the voyeur, like, in my fantasy, stupid. Yeah, I didn't make it a matter of, like, me personally atoning. Oh, and that's, like, so fucking important. Like, yeah. Like, me talking about GT being purgatory in general, stupid. Oh. Yeah. I definitely have more to say about that idea. Yeah, just, oh god, I explained all of these, like, ideas so poorly. Me talking about tiny size, I mean, like I said before, like, the way I brought up the pizza story in the GT recording is so, I don't know if that was the first time I brought up the pizza story in any of those recordings. But I just said, like, with all seriousness, like, I didn't even say it in a tongue-in-cheek way. I didn't try to say it in a vague way. I said, like, oh, like, I mean, yeah, Lars is fucking Euclid past me, but not the point. I mean, yeah, that's not the most what-the-fuck thing about, like, me bringing this up, in this recording that my mother listened to. Like, yeah, like, oh, yeah, like, Lars was Keter in the pizza story. Like, he was small enough to be on the pizza that Blackstar was eating without Blackstar noticing him. Like, yeah. Oh, like, whether or not that was really the case, I mean, it shouldn't have been, but whatever. Matt from Massachusetts, Bandersnatch. The fact that I, like, brought that up, like, so, like, I don't know, straightforwardly and, like, genuinely or whatever, like, yeah. It was, like, the way I said it, it was as though, like, it wasn't, like, a very much, like, what the fuck unfriendshable thing to, like, bring up. Like, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, what the fuck? Oh, God, what the hell? Like, yeah, I mean, from my mom's perspective, like, it must have been, like, indicative of, like, my lack of self-awareness, and I could say that that is true, to a great fucking extent, and I knew it immediately, listening to those recordings. I remember, like, yeah, like, me in mid-March, like, right after coming out to my mom, being, like, douched out by, like, me talking about the original sin of 117 and Piranhas. Yeah, talking about Blackstar, like, eating the pizza with Lars on it, like, yeah, without being, like, reluctant to, like, bring, like, that up in general. Like, I didn't even say, like, oh, like, Lars was small enough to be on something Blackstar was eating without Blackstar noticing him. The fact that I even brought up the substrate, like, fucking Jesus. Oh, God. Ugh. So gross. I mean, I don't know, like, bringing up the fact that, like, oh, like, the actual Keter Tinies in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, were, like, oh, like, in cereal or, like, in chips and dip. Like, that's one thing. Like, that wasn't in the context of, like, smut. Bringing up, like, the pizza store, I mean, I don't know. Again, like, the idea, like, she had about Vor, like, in those recordings, like, yeah, it was in her head, like, as, like a sexual thing, like, overall. So me bringing, like, up the pizza story, she knew, like, on some level that it was smut. Like, it was, at least from her point of view, and yeah, it happens to be smut. And I did bring that up in the Grace Guaranteeing the Ruin recording.
At least I didn't get off
like,
of it.
Yeah, I mean, that in and of itself is especially what the fuck, but I thought I'd bring up the fact that I brought up the pizza story so explicitly when I was talking about tiny size. Oh my God. Yeah, I could say it's a testament to my lack of self-awareness, and how atrophied my insult was at the time. Oh, like, I don't know. I could say that, like, there was nothing wrong with that in and of itself, but, like, I should have at least realized that, like, I should have hid how atrophied my insult was. Like, in terms of, like, talking to other people about all of this, like, yeah. Like, I don't know if normies would consider, like, lovely Leah Smalls Bones and the Supreme Pleasure Girl Stu Wadnam funny, or he fell off the edge of the sinking pizza island funny. Like, I don't know. I could say it's still kind of funny, but, like, as I said before, like, I don't know, like, if I can really appreciate how funny they are. Yeah, just because I know she listened to them, these recordings, like, God. Just thinking about it from her point of view, like, she's definitely, not even probably, definitely as what the fuck about hearing those things. So. 2237.
At least I have all of this shit in
as
my
I was when, like, I brought them up for the first time in these recordings, like, yeah. Oh, God. I wish I had something to drink, but whatever. I don't feel like going in to get seltzer.
Blue filters on Snapchat now. Maybe.
Jesus, my lungs are going to be pissed again. They sort of are, but whatever. Okay, I'm like coughing up phlegm a little bit, but I wouldn't say my lungs are in pain. Yeah, I'm not uncomfortable. 2307. Praise be. Anyway, hold on. God. This is the 20th thing I've done this week. God, I feel so productive. Anyway. I guess I should move on. I mean, yeah, there was so much shit that, like, I didn't explain well. Me sounding immature on the basis of all of those things I just mentioned. Yeah, God. Yeah, talking about how, like, the first sentence in any of those recordings she heard started with "to get off," comparing myself to Michael at Thanksgiving, yada yada. 2337. Oh, praise be, bodes well. God. Anyway, yeah. I want you to know who I am for real. My brain flew out the window in March. Like, that's definitely true. I wanted to get a sense of that. In terms of, like, how I carry myself in this video. Yeah. Like, I wanted to know that, like, I don't know. Hold on. Ugh. I lost my train of thought. I had something to say in that vein. I might get back to it. Okay. Yeah, my philosophy and creativity is largely founded on my sexuality. The base information is the base information. I have so many beautiful ideas that I'm serious about. Yeah. Yeah, the fact that I didn't, like, focus primarily on those things. Oh, I mean, like, that's putting it lightly. Like, oh my God. Oh, she has such, like, a lackluster, like, douchey, unfriendshable idea of, like, how I, like, I don't know, what I talk about, how I talk about it, yada yada, in these recordings. It just kills me inside. Yeah, I think, like, maybe I could bring up, like, the idea of the two-sided coin, like, briefly early on in this video, just to touch on it, and go into more detail after I go through 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, because I want her to know, before I talk about the two-sided coin in more detail, and sin 2, I'll get to that in a second, hopefully. Yeah, I want her to know that, like, 1, 2, and 3 is most certainly not exclusively, like, to do with the two-sided coin. Yeah, okay. So, simple definitions, again, of Vor and macro. Yeah, I'm not going to start this video out with "to get off." Yeah, all that stuff I just said in the introduction. I think that's a more tactful way to begin this video. Yeah, but the simple definitions, specifying that I don't mean Vor in a sexual way 90% of the time in this, that I wish there was a better term that didn't, like, sound so what the fuck outright, that doesn't trigger my Catholic insult. Yeah, I just want to present that base information. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Like, briefly, generally bring up my interest in GT. How I've had it my whole life, not only in terms of the stories on DeviantArt, like, how and why I personally view it as purgatory. Yes. And I could go into more detail maybe after 1, 2, and 3. Yes. Oh, after I've, like, introduced the idea of someone being, like, a vilified innocent in general. Yeah. And I can talk about that in terms of how do you prove to your child bride. Maybe hostile too. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, talking about Stuart as a real 2, not a fake 2. I mean, yeah. Rhetorically speaking, anyway, I mean, yeah, talking about Obstipwit, that might, like, help her to understand what I mean, in terms of Obstipwit on the part of 2. Yeah, I can say it's a perfect parallel. Beth asking Stuart if he's gonna kill her, with the great question, yeah. Been through it. Yeah, talking about the idea of the vilified innocent in terms of those things, and GT specifically. I think that's most important. Bringing up the idea of body raping the soul in general as well. Talking about how that's where GT and Vor come together, and that it's not sexual. And that I want to present it as something abstract, because yeah, I mean that's how I depicted it in the Bleach story. Certainly not a shift in paradigm. I don't see the point in bringing up a shift in paradigm. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Yeah, like, I focus too much on the ruin. Oh, no! Keep dropping this fucking cigarette. Ugh. Ugh, stupid. Fell on the seat. At least I didn't burn the fucking, like, I don't know. The seat, yeah. Anyway. It was just 27:23. Praise be, oh my god. Yeah. I think I'm talking alright. I have shit to say. Yeah. Yeah, like, I focus too much on the literal in terms of, like, just discussing, like, what body raping the soul is to begin with. Yeah, I should have, like, talked about it more abstractly. Yeah, and I can do that in terms of the Bleach story. Yeah. But, yeah, the selflessness that goes into, like, both, body raping the soul and GT. Talking about the two-sided coin in terms of those things specifically, and not my fetish. Again, the base information is enough in terms of my fetish. Yeah. Yeah, I just want to introduce, like, the two-sided coin, Vor and Macro, the idea of Vor and Macro to begin with, like, in, like, a very, like, tactful way. Like, I want to be careful about how I go about that. I don't want it to be like, whoa, like, when I bring it up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the selflessness in spite of my sexuality, how it, has been reflected in all of the art I've created growing up. I guess I'll bring that up again after 1, 2, and 3, because it goes into the two-sided coin. Yeah, and 1, 2, and 3 in general again, but, okay. Yeah, I want to be able to bring those two things together. Yeah, again, 1, 2, and 3 is certainly not completely focused on the two-sided coin. Again, the recordings you heard in March were exclusively to do with the two-sided coin. And, like, I think that it was important for me to focus primarily on that. Oh, but there was a way I could have fucking done it without focusing too much on my fetish. Like, that's just one aspect, of the two-sided coin. I mean, yeah, I could say that it's, like, the reason, like, body raping the soul and, like, GT are, like, significant to me, but yeah. Like, even if it's the basis, like, that's just it. Like, the base info is the base info, as I've been saying. Yeah. Like, I do have shit to say about the two-sided coin in terms of 1, 2, and 3. After I've explained 1, 2, and 3 in its entirety, I think. I think that's how I'm going to go about it. Yeah. So I can talk about those things in terms of 1, 2, and 3 again. Not only in the context of victimization, instances of victimization, but also how someone's identity can be 1, 2, or 3, in general in a certain context. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's so fucking important. 1, 2, and 3 is so important. These ideas are present in art that I've created my entire life again.
Meh. Alright. I don't know if, like, any of the poses I made or whatever are, like, selfie worthy or whatever. Maybe. We'll see. I'll be back soon. Maybe tonight. That'll be good.